A body is a complex network of organic matter, functions beyond my comprehension. A body is rhetoric. A body is where, bursting its sinewy seams, something is effervescing right below my ribcage.
Doom is a horror zine with writing and art submissions that we accept.
I first got into zines by pretty much needing my own way of getting my work out there. The reason that Doom is a horror-only zine is because as a child I'd read a lot of short stories about ghosts and just other horror-themed elements. And it sort of, messed me up a little bit as a kid. I would, have terrible nightmares, and then fear just sort of became a consistent part of my life. And that was also something that just sort of draws everybody from each culture, is what scares us, what are we terrified of deeply, and what's the worst thing that could happen to us. And it's always, whenever you're watching a horror movie, you have this sort of cathartic release, as in you're watching somebody else go through all these things that could potentially happen to you, this loss, this pain, this agony, this torment. You have a connection to these people that it's going through, that are going through it. And basically I just wanted to get a collection of different people's ideas on what horror is, whether it be sort of body horror or folklore, ancient Germanic folklore, this sort of things, or if it's very realistic thriller, or basically I just wanted it to be open for artists as well as authors, so that people who are into photography can photograph what they find to be horrifying.
Zines are non-commercial magazines which their creators publish and distribute themselves. Born in the 1930s, fans of science fiction began producing fanzines as a way of sharing sci-fi stories. Marginalised groups are also producing their own publications to express their views and opinions. Punk rock in the 70s saw fans of the genre using the medium as a way of representing their subculture that was ignored by the mainstream music press. The 90s saw a rise in feminism, with the Riot Girl movement making its impact on zines, and so the culture developed.
A lot of people ask us how zines are still relevant in the age of the internet, because people who are of older generations would have got into them because it was the only way that you could really find out about underground movements. I don't particularly see it as being the enemy of print culture or DIY zine culture, because it means that people who live in different cities can stay better connected to each other. So I think because it's changed its purpose, I suppose, has not necessarily meant that it's become less interesting or less important to people who are really passionate about DIY.
Well, I think distributing the zine online instead of as a physical thing, it gives us a lot more options to reach people. If we had a paper zine, we'd have to post it overseas, and it's just a lot cheaper and faster to get it out online.
A body is where my claws emerge, for ripping throats, and sometimes for scratching the smooth skin of a back while my legs are in the air.
I see zines continuing on, and as for Doom, I would love for it to just continue as it is. I want it to grow, and just so more people will be able to read it, more people will be able to submit, more people will be able to be a part of it, more people can express themselves. That's just what I want to see happening. And I think with zines in general, that's going to keep happening no matter what. Poetry, song lyrics, whatever anybody feels is right for them to submit.